Hey, this is Dana from the Dana and Travis Show. We hope you enjoyed season 1 of the show. We have a lot of new and exciting things coming up in 2015. So be sure and share our show with all your friends and family. And if you have any show ideas or topics you'd like to hear us cover, please send them to us at danaandtravisshow@gmail.com. And be sure to like and share our Facebook page. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
You're listening to a Collapsar Digital Studios production.
You know, we haven't made it through the first month of 2015, and Tom Brady already has people upset.
Oh yeah, it never fails. You turn on the TV or the radio all week long, that's the only thing you hear.
Yeah, maybe Obama should address that in the State of the Union.
Oh, I think, some type of a federal inquiry is definitely warranted, so we can figure out why he keeps messing with people's balls.
You know, Tom Brady should just go the way of Jeff Gordon, retire, and get his lead acting role in the next Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I would definitely pay to see that.
I would too.
Hey, you're listening to the Dana and Travis Show live from Bloomfield, Indiana, bringing the knowledge and wisdom of the universe to you in 60 minutes. Enjoy the show. All right, Travis, how's it going?
It's going good. Happy 2015.
First episode of the new year. How's everybody doing out there? We're glad you're checking us out on our podcast tonight. It's going to be a good show.
Yeah, and we're going to be getting this episode up on the new website with the addition of iTunes.
Oh, that's going to be so much better. So I know we've been promising this for a long time, but it's going to happen. So just give us a little bit of time to get it set up and enjoy.
Yeah, it's happening. And like I said, we're making this is happening because we got new sound, we got a new setup, and as you're listening to this right now, we are in my brand new studio space.
That is correct.
That is correct.
And it's been really great. Of course, this time last year we were in the grips of the polar vortex,
as we stated in the last show.
Yeah,
that we did.
But the last week it has been really, from mid-January we have had some really pretty days.
It's been really nice. I for January, this is like it was about 4 years ago. When did we go to Ireland?
3 or
4 years ago. When it was 70 degrees in January. Yeah, it hasn't been that hot.
No,
but it's still been pretty nice.
I think on the other day it was in the mid to upper 40s, which that's not bad. If you've got some sunshine and blue sky, which we've had. So
one day it was nice enough to go outside in shorts or even at least a jacket.
Yeah, so we've definitely been enjoying the weather. So anything else going on, Travis?
Oh, nothing. But before we get into how everything's going and all, we'd like to remind everyone that you can contact the Dana and Travis Show on Facebook, and you can also email us at danaandtravisshow@gmail.com.
Yeah, and definitely get a hold of us. If nothing else, just say hi and just let us know you're out there.
Yeah, because I think more people are actually going to hear this since it'll be on iTunes.
Yeah.
So yeah. Our main way of contact for the show is on Facebook.
Yeah, so definitely, Facebook's the easiest way to get a hold of us. So.
But I'm also going to be putting some news and updates for the show on the new upcoming website. So if you want to hear Dana and Travis Show news, that's where you'd be able to find it. But I will have the links and stuff for that on the Facebook page as soon as it gets set up.
Yeah, and like as you said, we are in our new studio. You've got you some new digs here, little new crib.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm just going to let all of you know I live right next to a railroad track. So if at any point you hear an awkward pause, it's because I had to hit mute and I had to stop the show. But we're not having that issue right now. So
no, but I just think that just adds character to the show.
I think it does too. Nothing like a little bit of choo-choo in the background.
Yeah, choo-choo, or maybe some random passing of gas. You never know. I mean, this is real podcasting.
Yeah, or you might hear a cat meow. The cats meow.
They do.
Yeah. So.
And you know what? Whenever I hear that, you know what it makes me want to do?
What's that?
Say meow.
What's that, meow?
Come on, meow. You know how fast you're going, meow?
Meow, did you hear me? No, they're making a sequel to Super Troopers.
I know, and that's the one where they're asking people to invest.
Yes,
in the
stock.
production of it. Yeah,
that's good. I can't wait to see it. I might not invest stock, but that is the brilliance of Kickstarter nowadays.
But I'm really kind of liking this Jeff Gordon Rocky Horror Picture Show idea. I think it's a good fit.
Just a little disclaimer on that.
Wait.
That statement it is not. There's always been the rumor, like Tom Cruise alike, that everyone always thought he's been gay.
Yeah, so everybody, don't get all in an uproar. I'm not the first one that's made a Jeff Gordon gay joke. Okay?
I mean, this has been going on for decades now. So,
and besides, Rocky Horror Picture Show, he was transvestite. It was just.
Yeah, no, we're not going to say Jeff Gordon's going to go, completely that far, but.
Actually, he was a transsexual transvestite from Transylvania.
I'm actually not going to lie. I have never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I'll tell you what, and I really wasn't. Of course, it's a cult classic.
Yes.
And back in the day, it's not that the movie is so great, but in the day, if you would go to a theater and see it with a really experienced audience, it was just the whole environment.
Well, a couple years ago, there was a resurgence of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, it's never completely. I mean, it's kind of had its peaks and valleys, but there's still a real following.
It kind of went the way of "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey. How it became. It's one of those things. Like, how did that get back? And be popular.
And for all of you that don't know, it got to where people would go to see Rocky Horror Picture Show dressed up in character. They would bring props with them into the theater, rolls of toilet paper, squirt guns.
It was basically a Comic-Con brought into a theater.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a whole experience.
Everyone was cosplaying.
It was interactive, yeah.
Oh, I got to remember to show you. There's this video I saw on YouTube of the real life Peter Griffin of Family Guy.
Really?
Have you seen it?
No.
No, there's this dude. He's a very big guy, and one day he's sitting at home and he realized that he can do the voice of Peter Griffin, and he saw that he had a white shirt and green pants in his wardrobe, so he put it on. He put some glass. He started going to Comic-Con, and people were coming up asking to take pictures with him. He'd just be like, yeah. He'd be walking around. He'd be doing the voices and. He'd be reenacting episodes for people, and he became a celebrity.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Wee wee.
Yeah, they're
if you can hear that,
us. They lock the doors quick.
Yeah, but yeah. So but he became like a celebrity, and it's the nobody. He's went to Comic-Con, and
there's a YouTube video with it.
Yeah. You just look up the real life Family Guy. Yeah. And it's entertaining for sure.
I've had enough of the sirens.
Yeah, me too. But
they can shut them off anytime.
That's all right, everyone. Like I said, it's just this is character of the show. But you can only go so far with the sirens and everything to show what the true character of the show is, and that's because we have a main topic of the night.
We do,
and we're gonna start that right now.
All right, our main topic of the night. Alright, so tonight's main topic kind of revolves around a story that I remember actually happened, or seeing it on TV when it actually happened.
Yeah, I remember that too. I remember, yeah, it's like you. I saw it on TV, and I didn't really think much of it when I saw it, but I knew it was freaking everyone out.
Yeah, it was really freaky, and I actually come across another article that readdressed it just recently, and it kind of give the the backstory on this.
What happened?
The event, yeah.
Yeah, it was some pretty creepy and freaky stuff that happened. Yeah. But it was never really addressed. So
no, in a nutshell, though, Vancouver tourist Elisa Lam, pretty young Asian woman. I think she was early 20s.
She was 21.
21.
Yes.
She was visiting L.A.
for no one knows why.
Yeah,
for whatever reason why she was down there.
Yeah, just we're figuring touristing or whatever, but the last time that she was seen alive was sometime in January of 2013, and the actual last sighting of her was through this elevator surveillance camera footage.
Yeah, and this elevator camera footage was was at the Cecil Hotel in L.A.
And just a little bit about the Cecil. It's an old hotel. Back in the 1920s, it was put in. I think it has 700 rooms. And
Very ritzy place.
yeah, back in the day, it was the place to be. It kind of fell into disrepair, and kind of uh, had its ups and downs through the years. At present, it's kind of in the bad part of town.
Yeah, it's in an undesirable spot
and,
of L.A.
near Skid Row. Now they rent rooms out by the week, and a lot of homeless people, of course, drug addicts, criminals, whatever.
Yeah, this hotel has seen it all.
Yeah, but so that was the last place she was seen.
Okay.
The elevator video is really what kind of makes the story, gives it an extra creepy little flair.
Yeah, because the video doesn't really make much sense when you're watching it because of what you hear later on of from what her parents describe her as a person, and just in general they said that there was nothing wrong with her from what everyone knew. She was completely normal.
Yeah, nothing really made sense. I think the video actually is about a 4-minute video. It shows her just displaying some really bizarre behavior.
For instance, at one point, she was acting like she was hiding in the corner of the elevator.
Yeah, like she was hiding from somebody,
and she was pressing all the buttons.
And the doors are on the elevator are locked open, and she's just pressing buttons like mad.
Yeah, and then she's going in and out of the elevator, looking like she was looking out for someone or something.
And then at one point, it actually kind of looks like she might be maybe having a conversation with someone or herself, but really using some really weird hand gestures and
her
unnatural hand gestures.
Yeah, her arms and hands were moving in such a fashion where it was almost like she was orchestrating. It was
like a puppet.
Yeah, like a puppet. She was just kind of really weird, wavy, bending and stuff that's not natural.
Yeah, it's very hyper animated movements and
very cartoonish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and again, this is from very what her family said, a very normal girl, no history of drug use or mental illness, just a
normal person.
A normal person.
And why she was at this hotel, considering what this hotel, with the history behind it, and where it currently stands, in the area. I mean, why would this pretty young girl be in this area by herself?
Yeah, nobody ever actually established what she was doing there. So she disappears. That's the elevator incident was the last time anybody saw her. I assume her family reported her missing, and it wasn't until about 2 weeks later that they kind of got some leads on where she might be.
Yeah, this is the bizarre part of the story. So if you're eating, you might want to stop for a second.
Yeah, this is a little bit on the gross side.
So some of the residents at this hotel at the time were complaining about the water.
Yeah, they were taking showers, and they said that the water was just kind of a discoloration, a dark, kind of brackish color.
Yeah.
And it had this kind of a sickly, sweet taste when they drank it.
Yeah, they said there was something weird about it. So, naturally, the maintenance man is called to go check out because this hotel is an old-fashioned hotel, and it has water tanks on top of the roof of the hotel.
Yeah, that provides all the water for the entire hotel. So they send the maintenance guy up to the rooftop, past the security systems and
the locked doors.
Yeah, the locked to see if there's something wrong with the water system.
There's one door in and one door out.
Yeah, and it is there's cameras, alarms, and the hotel had been upgraded and had a pretty good a security type system. So he gets up there, and it didn't take him long to find the problem.
Yeah, he looks up the top of he has this idea that he should climb up to the top of the water tanks and check out the tanks, because the water's the problem. So naturally, he's going to check the tanks.
Yeah, so I envision him with like a pole or something, kind of maybe kind of fishing around, whatever.
And he maybe snagged something.
Possibly.
And so he gets this great idea. Well, we're going to drain the tank. And what he finds at the bottom of that tank are the remains of Lisa Lamb.
Yes, and of course she had been in there, and of course this is L.A. I know it is, and by now it's into February. It's actually 2 weeks after she was last seen. So now we're in the first couple weeks of February, and it's hot, and I'm sure those tanks absorbed a lot of heat up there. The body was very decayed. It was black. So he's, drains it out. Hey, there's a body in this tank.
Yes.
Everybody swallow hard.
Yeah. That probably won't settle well with your stomach. So,
of course, they call the authorities, the fire department, police, and everybody responds.
And here's the crazy part of the story. The crazy part of the story is when the authorities got there, they were trying to investigate how she could have possibly got into this tank. But in order to get the body out of the tank, they had to actually cut a hole in the tank to get her out.
Yeah, so that leaves the question, if they had to cut a hole in the tank to get the body out, how did the body get in?
Yeah, and that's the weird part about it. I mean, how did she?
And everybody was left scratching their heads on that one. Nobody had an answer.
Nope.
I mean, she obviously got in there somehow, but there really wasn't any physical way that she could have gotten inside the tank.
And to this day, I mean, as of right now, they still don't know.
Yeah, and of course they did an autopsy. Well, for one, of course there was the danger of the hazardous waste, the water being contaminated, which I think they ended up just, once they found out there was no real significant
bacterial infections.
Yeah, no threats or anything. They just chlorinated the heck out of it.
Yeah. I mean, what else are they going to do?
But it goes on, though. So, of course, they do an autopsy. No alcohol, no drugs. Her system was clean.
Yeah, which that's the weird part.
Because, I'm thinking, when you see the elevator footage, I'm thinking, okay, somebody has slipped or something.
Yeah, because she's not acting right. I mean, she just isn't.
Yeah, but obviously I'm thinking roofie or something.
But they didn't find anything.
No, there was no evidence of any drugs. So the actual cause of death was accidental drowning.
Yeah, so
pretty obvious.
Yeah, so how do you accidentally drown in a tank you can barely get into?
Yeah, of course, they had no idea how she got up there. Like I said, the security cameras and the alarms to the rooftop of the hotel.
Yeah, because the security camera stuff didn't catch her. Going up there, and there's only one way there.
And then plus, and there again, it's like we stated before, it was no easy task to get into those tanks.
Yeah, but let's just face it. She either figured out how to do it, and she just had some sort of mental breakdown, or something else was going on. She was maybe murdered. Who knows? Yeah. Or, some people suggest maybe paranormal activity.
Yeah, possession.
I mean, at this point, anything is viable.
Yeah, and to kind of give some credence to that, there's actually a very dark history to this hotel.
Yeah, it's not good stuff.
Lots of suicides over the years, and just strange murderers, strange deaths.
One of the most famous LA serial killers actually took refuge in the hotel before he started doing all the killing, and that was
Richard Ramirez.
Richard Ramirez,
the Night Stalker. And actually, they kind of think that he was actually living there when he went on his murder spree. And after that, there was a journalist who was doing a story on Richard Ramirez.
And he decided to make his story a little bit more real. He decided that he was just going to do some killing himself.
Yeah, and that's some really, I know actors really like to dive deep into their characters and just get into the heads. That's going above and beyond.
I mean, this guy must have had a very unhealthy obsession with Richard Ramirez.
Yeah, Jack Unterweger.
He had a really weird name.
Yeah, and he was he was in L.A. Doing a piece for an Austrian magazine over Richard Ramirez, and while he was staying at the hotel, kind of getting a feel for things, he just thought he'd go out and kill some prostitutes.
Yeah, just go out and kill some prostitutes. No big deal, you know.
So yeah, and like I said, just lots of people leaping to their death and landing on the tops of cars. And
There was actually one particular story of someone who committed suicide in this hotel, where she actually jumped off. I believe it was the 7th or 8th floor, and she actually landed on someone on the street and killed that person as well.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a bad day?
Yeah, I mean, just getting crushed by someone who fell 8 stories. I mean, what kind of luck and what kind of chances are that?
Yeah,
I mean, is that
astronomical?
I mean, that almost never happens.
But it doesn't stop there.
No, it doesn't.
There was it was shortly after the Lisa Lamb death. There was a deadly outbreak of tuberculosis in the Skid Row area, just right near the location of the Cecil Hotel.
Okay.
And the name of the test kit that was used in tuberculosis outbreaks is called Lamb Elisa.
Yeah, and
Her name in reverse.
yeah, and that makes you wonder. It's like, why would they call it that?
And there again, I mean, there's coincidence, yeah. But again, there's no such thing as coincidence.
Now, you give your credit due where that goes to.
Okay, my George Norrie, Coast to Coast AM, he always says that, because you think, oh, well, just coincidence. No, there's no such thing as coincidence.
No.
And I also agree with that line of thought also. So
Yeah. We both have reasons to believe in that line of thinking.
that is correct.
So yeah. So I mean, that's basically the gist of the story.
Yeah, and to this day, like I said, people still don't have a real solid
Understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, I said, Dad just, he just kind of, he said that he just ran across a story, randomly. And, me and him got talking about it. It's like, I remember when that happened.
Yeah, because at the time they just saw how it was just odd, and at the time they had no idea how she got into those tanks.
No, and it just makes you wonder. I mean, how does stuff like this happen? And it just the mystery part of it. And it's just like, was she murdered? Was she drugged and just didn't show up on the test? I mean, was something supernatural going on?
Yeah, and there could be a very valid explanation for this.
Yeah, there could be something that no one is not thinking of.
That nobody has thought of, or maybe just a really weird set of circumstances, a perfect storm, if you will.
Final Destination type.
Yeah.
Type circumstances where
some kind of a weird super trooper traffic stop gone terribly wrong. Meow.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I just said that.
You're just on a row. He just had to say something.
Yeah. Give me my little
Okay.
minute of fame.
I'll give you your little.
Just let me shine just a little.
Okay, there's a beam of light coming up from the heavens.
Thank you.
There it is for 5 seconds. Now it's gone. Okay.
You know what that was? Vindication. That's what that was.
Okay. You can call it whatever you want to call it.
So, but that about sums up that story, and I just thought that was just something that I'd kind of forgotten about, and I just thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, it's a very interesting story, and we both encourage you to go out and do some research of your own on this subject.
Definitely, if you YouTube and just put in Lisa or Elisa Lamb. It'll show, most of the videos show the footage, the elevator footage, and there's some news reports and stuff also. So.
We'll post the video on the Facebook page.
That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, we'll post the video on the Facebook page, and we'll let all of you decide for yourself what you think is going on with Elisa Lamb.
Can I get a Rocky Horror Picture Show poster and superimpose Jeff Gordon's face in it. Can we post that too, as well?
You know what? I could very well do that.
Yes, I think that would be fitting.
It'd be cool if we can make if we can get that made to an actual poster.
It'd be great to have an actual production and have Gordon sign on to it. We can get Tom Cruise to be his manager. Show me the money. That's got
Come on, Tom Cruise. Come on, closet.
John Travolta, definitely. We'll have Bill Cosby do a little cameo.
Oh my God, Tom Cruise, come out of that closet.
A little time warp and jello.
And he's gonna give that girl some roofies.
Okay, stop. Put the brakes on.
All right, but I don't think we have much more to say on this unless you do.
No, that about covers it, I think.
All right, well there you go, everyone. That is your first topic of 2015.
Yeah, we hope you've enjoyed it. And again, if you have any topics that you'd like for us to cover, drop us a line. If you have any ideas for future show topics, we're all ears.
Or if you have a bad idea and we just don't like it, we just won't listen to you.
But let's keep the Dana Jeff Gordon hate mail to a minimum if we can.
No, in all honesty, I think Jeff Gordon is one of the more skilled drivers in NASCAR history.
And the fact that his sexuality is in question, I don't think that should play a role.
But look at Tom Cruise; it did a lot for him in his career.
If we could just keep Tom Brady from messing with people's balls.
That's all I. Well, I said Mama's got to make a law. It's gonna be state law. Love you, Donnie Baker.
Okay, so yes, if you have any ideas, let us know, and we'll let's see if we can dig up some news.
All right, well, we'll be back after this break, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, everyone. Well, we're back from our break, and right now we're going to have some news for you.
All right.
All right, well, the first story of the night involves drones. And I'm not talking about the military-type drones. I'm talking about civilian drones, ones you can go to World King right now and buy.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast that the drone technology has come, for like civilian use and, just for Joe Blow to go out and buy.
Back in the day, it just used to be you go to a mall, and they have like those little helicopter things that they fly around. Who would ever thought that one day those things were going to evolve into these things that can, carry quite a bit of weight? And when I mean by quite a bit of weight, this story I'm going to tell you right now is in Mexico, they're starting to get kind of creative how to smuggle drugs across the border.
Hey, you got to these days.
Authorities have found a drone that crashed into a supermarket parking lot that was containing or holding 6 pounds of methamphetamine.
Wow, that's a lot of meth.
Yeah, 6 pounds in a broken drone.
Clean up on aisle 5.
That'd be an awesome name for a song. 6 pounds in a broken drone.
Yeah, that's like a Volbeat song.
Yeah, I know. It'd be like 6 pounds in a broken drone.
And you know what? I see on like Discovery Channel. They was on some South Pacific island, and they had one of the new fancy drones, and of course they had attached a GoPro camera to it.
Oh, that'd been so cool.
And they were surveying this island by air, but the kid that was running the drone let it get too far away, and I guess once it stopped receiving,
then he lost the drone.
it just flew off.
Oh.
GoPro and all.
Oh, that'd been horrible. But anyway, so that's about all it for the story. They haven't found any leads who had the drone, but
That kind of
6 pounds of meth.
That kind of makes the old mule kind of obsolete. no more shoving stuff up orifices of your body.
Yeah, you can just drone. You could use a drone now. Just go to Rural King, pick up one for $600, and you're
Fly
good to
it
go.
in.
All right, well, what do you have for a new story?
One thing I come across, and some coworkers down the Martin Lawrence County, Indiana area have been hearing these loud, mysterious booms.
What I want to know is, I mean, I know where the story is going to go, but how come we don't hear them?
Um,
And they're not that far away.
no, but me being a coast to coast fan that I am, this kind of piqued my curiosity because whenever people started, telling me about it, of course, I was the knowledgeable expert, that was there present. And I said, people have been hearing these things all over the United States for the last 18 months, almost 2 years. Just booms that come out of nowhere.
Yeah. So apparently scientists have an idea, maybe discovered what is causing these booms.
Actually, no. They have some theories.
Oh, those are just theories.
There's lots of theories out there, but nobody has actually pinpointed the origin. Of course, some of us a little bit politically motivated. The oil fracking in the Dakotas and the Midwest, that's gotten a lot of heat, saying that anytime you spray high pressure water into the Earth's crust to bust it up, you're gonna do damage, and they're thinking that the booms are actually from within the Earth, and that's why but I would think that some kind of a seismometer or some seismic activity would show up, and they could correlate.
Yeah, that's true.
And you could correlate the times.
I mean, if that is the case, they could prove that with science.
Yeah, there's no fracking around here, so what's causing the booms in Indiana? And I looked up this, or I found this article, and it says that the early this month, January 2015, there's been a huge jump nationwide in these booms, which would include the ones that my coworkers heard just a little bit south of here.
All right. So what's the biggest theory that you can tell everyone?
My favorite theory, and actually there's only two main theories, and that is the experimental aircraft.
Okay.
They're Area 51 type stuff. There's this mythological plane that everybody talks about, but nobody, kind of like Bigfoot. Everybody talks about it, but nobody's seen one. Called the Aurora.
Is that called finding mythological plane? Are they like, you hear that?
That's one of them.
That's one of them aeroplanes.
But it was just recently that we found out after the fact that NASA had the little space shuttle looking plane that's been flying around the Earth for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and no one
on
knew.
A secret mission. That they're not saying why. But yeah, this Aurora aircraft is supposedly what is eventually going to maybe replace the space shuttle, but it's still experimental, and possibly those booms are just sonic booms that are so high up in the stratosphere, that you can't see them. There's no chemtrail or anything.
Now I know that there's another theory, and the other theory is that are meteors. Now, I have a thought. It's something I've never thought of. How you hear them all over the country. What if it was just a meteor entering, maybe entering the atmosphere, causing a sonic boom?
But you would think people would see it.
Yeah, but maybe maybe it's so high up that you can just hear the boom, but you can't see it happen.
Could be. You're saying maybe it blows up before it gets...
Yeah, it blows up before, or it just passes through and it doesn't actually hit the Earth. It just kind of boom passes through and it kind of makes it hits the atmosphere and then kind of combusts.
I don't know if it was you and I that was talking about this, but the Russian meteor, that went streaking across the sky, and there was so many videos and stuff. It blew out windows all over this little part of Russia, and I think actually it injured people.
Yeah, it actually hurt some people.
I know it made a sonic boom as well when it come in. And of course, you notice it come in at an angle. Mm-hmm. I heard this one story was talking about the Tunguska incident back in the early 1900s in Siberia. They think maybe a black hole hit the Earth. It just wiped out, this huge expanse of wilderness in Siberia, knocked trees down for miles and miles and miles. But they thought maybe that whatever it was, possibly a meteor that hit, comes straight down through the, it wasn't a glancing blow. And of course, when it comes straight down into the atmosphere, it actually blew up before it hit, and that was like an atomic bomb exploding in midair.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, so the other, the theory goes along with that you said, was that meteors were actually possibly hitting Antarctica.
Yes, there was a new scientific discovery just in the last couple weeks of a meteor that they found. Well, for starters, there was this weird noise that scientists have been hearing since 2004. And there again, there wasn't any kind of a real origin, but it was very typical of some kind of a huge, massive detonation.
Okay.
And scientists in Antarctica last week stated that they had been flying over this very remote part of Antarctica and come across this crater that was like over a mile wide. And they think that a meteorite actually crashed and hit the Earth in 2004, causing this huge crater and a sound wave that completely enveloped the Earth and is still kind of, just kind of going around and around in circles.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, they said this is possibly a meteorite the size of a house.
Which, to put it in perspective, the meteor that hit Russia was about the size of a school bus.
Yeah, they said, had that have hit in a populated area or even a semi-populated area, even out in the country, think of if it hit in Park, it could destroy most of Bloomfield.
It could probably destroy more than just that. I mean,
Yeah.
It could possibly destroy half the county.
When you've got a crater that's a mile wide, the devastation zone is going to be much greater.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought that was interesting, and then plus the fact that we didn't have any kind of a warning or scientists didn't even know that it hit.
And see, that is the crazy thing to me.
Yeah, that's still
in the day and age where people are like, well, like for instance, UFOs. If we can't see a giant meteor the size of a school bus hurtling towards the Earth, how can we say that maybe you're missing UFOs? I mean, apparently, asteroids and meteors hit the Earth all the time.
Yeah,
and scientists never catch them.
We never see them coming.
I mean, how is that possible?
I think it's odd too that some of these huge meteors, just like the Tunguska event in Siberia, it seems like maybe they're drawn to the poles because Siberia has had a long history of meteor strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that would be the North Pole area.
Maybe there's a lot of magnetic.
Yeah, I don't know if there's if there's anything to that or not, but I thought it was odd. This one hit the South Pole area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yes, it's really interesting to think about. All right. Well, do you have any more to add to that story?
No, not really to that story. The only other thing I'll leave with, one other possibility is they were thinking maybe the booms could be some in the Midwest anyway. Could be something to do with the New Madrid fault system, earthquake type faults, possibly. That's the other one that was kind of thrown out there.
Yeah.
But hopefully someday they'll actually find out what's actually causing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out what is causing that. I've never heard them, but I do hear of a lot of people who do say.
Well, there was multiple people 2 weeks ago, they're around Bedford, that heard these booms. It wasn't just, and I guess there was all sorts of Facebook activity. Hey, what was that? What blew up? What was that? And multiple people heard it. So
Interesting.
So Travis, what do you have?
All right. Well, the next story that I have is scientists have discovered a papyrus wrapped around a mummy mask that they have had in storage that has revealed the oldest known gospel of the Bible.
Really?
Up to date. A team of researchers discovered a papyrus that was wrapping a mummy mask, and they did some research with it, and they found out that it actually contains fragments of the Gospel of Mark, and it dates back to about 90 A.D. Now, most of the Gospels found in the Bible were found on these papyrus, and in whatever slabs, and it dates back to 101 to 200 A.D. So this is back to 90 A.D. So this is about 10 to 110 years before the timeline of where these are found. So that's 100-year difference. If you put 100 years in perspective, that's quite a big time. To go to have for this discovery, of these texts.
Yeah, and
especially on a mummy mask.
Yeah,
that's what's kind of mind-boggling me.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's an Egyptian mummy, but yeah, that's of course writing on papyrus, or I think they also did a lot of inscribing on stone and brass, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of course, the Dead Sea Scrolls, I don't know how old they are.
Not sure.
But it's interesting, and then there wasn't anything else besides the Gospel of Mark, though.
No. And I will say this, this story was, you can find it on Fox News, and it says that the text was written on papyrus sheets that were later used for the mummy mask. While stereotypical image of ancient mummies involves bejeweled golden mask, the level of finery was only reserved for the wealthy. The mummy mask for the average person would have been made out of recycled materials like papyrus. So this mummy might not have been anyone important, but what's still important about it is the papyrus that was found on this mummy.
Wow.
So it boggles me that this, we're going back to Egypt. We're going back to Egyptian times.
Yeah, I find it
and
odd
there, and
that you
there's
find it on the Egyptian mummy.
Yeah, and you're finding biblical text on Egyptian mummies. So to me, that's, I don't know if there's a significance there.
But there was of course that was the ground zero for the early Christian.
Yeah, Moses and. Early Old Testament stuff.
You kill enough firstborn children and send enough locusts, you start to make believers out of people, and maybe
yeah, that's true. But no, I thought that was a very interesting story. I mean, and this is a big archaeological discovery. I mean, finding a
anytime you find original text, from antiquity, it's a big find.
Yeah, big deal. But yeah, like I said, it just blows my mind. They found it on a mummy papyrus.
Real quick, I've got another mummy story. We might just hit on.
Yeah. This relates to it, which this one makes me scratch my head.
Yeah, is this one of those things you just kind of wonder what were they thinking? And that would be the King Tut death mask, I guess is what you call it. And everybody, if you,
which was gold and bejeweled, that this is the wealthy.
Yeah, it was the golden mask. You see it in magazines, you see it in books.
You see it everywhere.
It's all. If you think of Egypt, that might be one of the things that outside the pyramids.
In the Sphinx.
Which you think of the King Tut tomb, and then the picture of the death mask, which, if you recall, there had this golden beard that hung down.
Mm-hmm.
Very, it didn't really look like a beard. It was just a straight kind of
thing that goes down. Yeah.
Well, the museum where the mummy death mask was found, they broke the beard.
They broke the beard by Great Egyptian Tut's beard.
They broke off King Tut's beard. And, of course, you're talking, this is something, you can't even put a price on this. It is so priceless.
Well, yeah.
And of course, anytime you have any kind of a historical, antique, there's places that you go, to have them, reconditioned, taken care of. And they said that for some reason they wanted to fix this mask very quickly instead of sending it off, to have it properly fixed. What do?
They do what you don't do.
Well, I might do it.
Not if it's that priceless.
They super glue it back on hastily.
Super glue.
We're talking King Tut's death mask.
And they tried to fix it with super
You know,
glue.
the only other thing that they possibly might have tried was maybe some duct tape. I don't know.
I mean, duct tape. I mean, if you can't duck it,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna finish it.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was, of all, you would think they would take a lot of care in trying to repair this priceless piece of history. No, they just like the dude with the hard hat on the steel beam, they just super glued it and went on.
Yeah, and well, of course we're talking about it now, so it obviously didn't go well for them.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, King Tut's beard fell off. Well, do you have a... Well, no, actually, I'm going to get to my story quick because yours is going to probably be the longest one.
Okay.
So I'm just going to cover this real quick. This story is out of Los Angeles. 70 measles cases linked to Disneyland.
Wow.
Yeah, so apparently someone had measles. And it spread to some people who were not vaccinated. They were not vaccinated.
And but I guess that's really kind of a big problem right now. And there's been several measles outbreaks. Parents failing to have their kids vaccinated. But you know what else? We've got an awful huge influx of illegal immigrants coming across the border with all sorts of nasties and I'm sure they probably haven't been vaccinated.
Which is a greater reason why parents should get their kids vaccinated.
Yeah, and another good reason why we need to put up a big wall and maybe put up some anti-drone aircraft.
Laced with meth. We're just going to sprinkle meth on top of them.
Yeah, but no, yeah, that's a pretty big outbreak, and it would suck to go someplace like Disney World and get some kind of a disease like that.
Yeah, I mean,
and they said a lot of the kids weren't
old enough
to be vaccinated that have gotten it. So
yeah, so I mean, it's like, what can you do? But there was also some people who got sick who were of age. And it's like, parents, I mean, for crying out loud, get your kids vaccinated. I mean, there's nothing wrong about it. It's causing, like for me, I don't care if it's against your religious beliefs. I don't care if you think it's it's a government, whatever. I mean, whatever your thoughts are. If I were a parent, I would, and if I had a kid, I'd like to know that this person over here's kids are vaccinated, just so I know that my kid might not get sick from them.
But I think there's people have kind of been lulled. I mean, of course, I think as the years go by, of course, with the vaccination programs going on, there are less and less of kids. When I was a kid. If one kid in the family had chicken pox, you just went ahead and just had a big party so you could...
Everyone got sick.
Yeah, you could get everybody sick at once and get it all over with.
Yeah.
But, I don't hear much really about chicken pox too much anymore.
Well, no, because it just well, actually, I do. Chicken pox actually is a big deal for some people now. I don't know why, but it is.
It just seems to me
of course, you have the fear of getting shingles, which I've had.
Yeah.
It sucked. It's not fun. I recommend anyone to go get the shingles vaccination. They have it. Go get it. Because I tell you, you get it on your face, then you have to be going to see an eye specialist because you think you might lose an eye. So...
But it just seems to me like it's, it was just so much more common 20, 30, 40 years ago, for a lot of these, especially the childhood diseases.
Yeah.
Mumps or...
even I had whooping cough.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a vaccine for that now.
And there's been a huge resurgence of that now.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is just go get your kid vaccinated. That's all it is. Just go do it. I mean, it's not that hard. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is if you don't.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, even something as benign and innocent as a trip to Disney World could cause you some serious issues.
yeah, of course. So, PSA, get your kids vaccinated and stop being dumb.
Yeah,
Stop being dumb people.
I still get the occasional Ebola flare up, but I'm managing it fairly well.
Yeah, it goes away after 3 weeks, and you're okay. And you're okay.
Yeah, no big deal.
All right, so Dad, you have the most interesting story of the night.
Well, possibly. I mean, it did kind of catch my eye when I read it's one of those deals where you read the headline and you're like, I need to read more about this.
Yes, and it scares me.
Yeah, and the actual headline is the proposal to use Russian satellites for 911 calls in the United States.
Here's what I have a hard time with. We are home to Google. We are home to NASA. We are home to Apple. We are home to name any big major corporation, software companies, the most innovative minds in the world.
Yeah, kids from the United States, from Pakistan, from the UK, and from Australia can all get together and play Minecraft or World of Warcraft
Yeah.
and communicate back and forth, but we can't handle a 911 system.
Exactly. This is why government is incompetent. This is why.
Well, and
Google can figure it out more than any government could. This is why. I mean, first of all, why Russia? I mean, why even consider? Now, I'm just going to say this right now. We're not allowed to do business with Russia because you know why? They're a bunch of racist homophobes. we can't do business with them. We can't. Because that would be against our moral code.
Well, only when it's in our end. Yeah. And the thing is, just like with the astronauts, right now, I mean, Russia has got, their space program has never stopped. We have not had a space program in the United States for 20 years.
Which is a mistake. We should be up there. We should be shooting for the stars.
Yeah, and
not Russia.
Maybe not 20 years, but, for
a long time.
For the last 10 years,
I mean, it stopped during Bush, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and and they're at the end of the space shuttle program. I mean, there was a time I know in my young life, there was a space shuttle going up once a month,
and it was a big deal.
Yeah,
I mean, okay, I still understand how we were able to send someone to the moon back in was it the 60s?
69,
60s. If we were able to send someone to the moon then, but then, one of our stories last year was the rocket that couldn't even take off and it came back down and blew up.
Yeah.
How can we...
I think it's very dangerous for us to become that dependent on Russia.
We can't.
In this, time in history.
Not just that, but our 911 system?
Yeah, it just has big danger written all over it.
I mean, for God's sake, be anything else. But our 911 system, the only thing else I can think is web security.
Yeah.
You don't want to put Russians in charge of that either.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine, God forbid, there'd be some kind of a huge, natural disaster.
And we have to rely on Russia.
Yeah, and what if they just or maybe Russia decides they want to mess with us? It wasn't too long.
The lines are down. The lines are down today.
Yeah, they could just say, all right, guys, you handle it on your own. And let's not forget the passenger airline that was shot down over the Ukraine that Russia had a hand in, killed, over 100 innocent civilians, and what's been done about it?
I mean, most of them were American, weren't they?
No, actually, I think there was.
Well, there's a couple.
There was one IU student.
Yes.
There was an exchange student.
Who's an exchange student?
So actually,
yes.
wasn't American in nationality, but they were attending IU. Mostly European, but still, I mean, it kills me how people forget so quickly. I just and we're get off topic, but.
No, I mean it all applies.
Well, just the other day, actually yesterday, I think the Department of Justice come out and said that in the Ferguson, Missouri shootings, it wasn't likely that any civil rights violation charges are going to go forward.
Okay, so this is where we're going to separate our original story for where this is going to go. Go continue.
Well, so that's been what, maybe 3 months. And
It's been a little longer than that.
They've had their investigation though, and they made a big federal probe out of it. Just like Tom Brady and but Bo Bergdahl, we still don't know what that investigation is.
I thought I heard something about him. I thought he got in trouble for something.
They won't say.
Well, I mean, I thought he got in trouble for something separate, like something he's done after.
But
I'll have to get back with you on that one.
But then let's go and look at General Petraeus, who they're going to hang. And there's nothing secret about it, because he had an affair and he might have said some things that were classified in front of his girlfriend.
Well, let's just go back to Ferguson real quick. So, how many of us have been saying that it was not a civil rights issue from the very beginning?
Well, most everybody except those people in Ferguson.
No, not just in Ferguson.
Yeah, that's true. I know that but yeah, most everybody. Even I think, didn't the kids' family say it wasn't. There was no racial intent. It was never about race.
Well, yeah, this whole Ferguson was never about race.
It was made about race.
It was made about race. It was never about race.
No.
If anything, I will say that Ferguson caused a lot of people to question the competency of police officers.
But making a federal case out of it, sending the attorney general to the funeral, it should have never. The federals, they should have let the local people handle it.
Yes. Well, no, I don't think they could have handled it. I don't think that they, for what all that happened.
I think they could have, but there was so much pressure put on them from above.
No, and I can tell you who started this. It was MSNBC, CNN. Yeah. They're the ones who started all of this.
Yeah, I know.
If they had not came down and started saying, oh, do you think this was about race, and putting that idea in people's heads? Well, that's what happened. And now look, all over the country, people stand out in the middle of highways, preventing people from going to work.
Yeah, in Boston the other day, that was uncalled for.
It just, you're seeing this all over the country, and it's like, first of all, don't you have something better to be doing? If you want to be helping race out, why don't you get to work? Why don't you start going out there, start youth programs? Instead of out there protesting, why don't you start doing something productive? Why don't you start, if you're as big as a hero as what you claim to be, with a lot of these people, these people out there protesting with the signs, if you're a hero, why don't you actually go do something?
Well, and most all these people...
if there really is an issue, there's a lot to be done then.
The Ferguson, Missouri case, he was resisting arrest. The guy that they put the chokehold on, that unfortunately passed away.
That was wrong.
Well,
I've watched the video. The guy choked him out, and he was crying to stop.
But you know what though? I think maybe they could. Myself, I would have just tased him and just been done with it. Maybe, what if they would have tased him and the same thing would have happened?
Well,
I wouldn't have gotten to a fight with him. I'd say, dude, you get about 3 seconds, and then I'm going to put you on the ground.
Well, but at least
which is what they did, just in a different way.
But at least with a tase, you don't have your hand, you don't have your arm around the guy's neck and him crying to stop. He was willing to give up.
No, he wasn't. He was resisting arrest. He had a rap sheet a mile long. He was a previously convicted felon. He was obviously participating in illegal activities. Had he would have surrendered and says, the whole thing would have happened if he would have, did his civil duty and been arrested.
Yeah, but it was not right of that cop to choke him to death.
I would like to think, and it's hard to say.
The cop could have let go, and he didn't.
It's hard to be an armchair quarterback and say what you would have done in that situation. I think myself, and this is, back from my ambulance service days, I didn't get paid enough to fight with people. I'd just say, listen, you got about 5 minutes to make up your mind what you're going to do. You're going to either go with me or you're going to go with the officer here. One or the other. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm not going to argue with you. I just tell them that. And the same thing, if I had been those officers, I would explain to the man, listen, you are going to jail today, and that's not negotiable. How you do it is up to you. You can either come with us and we'll put you in the car, or we will tase you and put you on the ground and make you pee your pants. However you want to do it. I wouldn't have fought with him. That's me.
Yeah. Well, there's just a lot of things that's going on, but like I said, there's just a lot of incompetency, and it's just going back to this whole Russia thing.
Yeah, back to Russia and the satellites. Yeah, that's the 911s. You can't make me believe that we don't have the brightest minds in the world over here that can't figure out some way to make a 911 system that is efficient and that works.
Yeah, I know it can happen.
Yeah.
We have the people. We have the resources. We can do it. Why do we have to rely on Russia? We should be the ones shooting for the stars. Instead, everyone wants to lay low and act like that we should just have everything handed to us by everyone else.
Of course, and you brought up Google and stuff, which, Google doesn't just operate in the United States. They're worldwide, and a lot of their company is located overseas.
But their home base is the United States.
Yeah, but I think business in general is so regulated. Maybe that's why that we can't efficiently do it. Maybe there's just so much regulation that's just not feasible. I don't know. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But it's just, I don't know. It's just crazy to me.
But them kids playing Warcraft.
I don't know. I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of time and effort that these people put into this stuff.
Facebook, the stuff on Facebook, and like I said, you can interact and talk with people in other countries and
all over the world.
And
it single-handedly changed our society.
I can post something and all of my friends can see it within seconds.
Well, unless some of your friends.
Okay.
You have to pay.
Yeah.
If you want all of your friends to see it. Thank you, Facebook.
Yes.
We love you too.
You know what I mean, though. I mean, I can, by me posting, that's kind of me making a 911 call, and all these people I'm wanting to hear my call, they can.
Yeah.
And they can look and on the little GPS Facebook thing, they can see where I'm at. I think that's part of the deal with this Russian satellite thing, that they're saying that the current system in the United States is having trouble picking up the locations of people. They said the cellular calls, they said, are pretty good shape, which is kind of surprises me. But I guess there again, through the GPS technology, it's easier to trace a cell phone than a landline. I don't know.
Well, maybe they need to have like what some college campuses have. Maybe the towns and stuff need to set up beacons. Being like, okay, if you have an emergency here, find the closest beacon near you, hit it so the authorities know where to go.
Yeah, or at least they have a general area.
Yeah. I mean, like Vincent's University. I know college campuses have this. Like if you see someone get raped, or someone gets hurt, or someone's having a medical emergency, you go where you hit this thing, and so it hooks you up with someone. Like, hey, so get someone here now. They're there.
You got all the OnStar technology and vehicles.
Yeah, yes. Imagine if OnStar hooked up with the government to do this.
Yeah.
They could set up beacons, and imagine the jobs that would create.
They could unlock your car.
Yeah. Well, and then you have the hackers who can figure out how to unlock everyone's cars.
Yeah, but you're always going to have that.
Yeah. But no, just imagine the stuff they could be doing. I mean, if they can figure out how to make a parking meter when you leave, it goes back to zero. I'm pretty sure they could probably figure out how to make a beacon system where authorities know where to go. I mean, in an area, if that's.
I just feel like
imagine the crime. I mean, if people could get there, quicker.
We were just really falling way behind, and I don't know really what the reason is.
Because our manufacturing, because we used to be a country that was based on manufacturing, and now we're not. We used to be able the mindset back in the day was, here's our problem, here's what we need to do to fix it, we're going to do it. Now it is, we have a problem. Let's hire someone else in another country to do it.
Yeah, let's outsource it because it's cheaper.
Or we're just not going to deal with it at all.
Yeah.
That's our problem. It's like, oh, well, we guess we could just team up with the Russians.
Yeah, I guess. That sounds like a good idea.
You know, Putin made signs and shot up on the side of the Russian Capitol buildings, calling Obama racial slurs, and we're about to do business with them.
Yeah, but I tell you what though, and this is as much as I don't like Putin, I think I'd rather have Putin.
Yeah, if he was just a little less crazy, but he's a good leader.
Yeah, but he's kind of that Screech off Saved by the Bell crazy. It's kind of cool. It's like that guy's out there, but man, he's living life.
He's always riding tigers and
yeah, and he got his shirt off all the time, and
What I found out is that Putin looks a lot like Dave Mustaine if Dave Mustaine had his hair chopped off.
Really?
Yeah. From Megadeth, if no one knew that. But anyway,
cool.
That is a show.
I liked it.
Yeah, I feel good about this one.
Yeah, much better.
Yes. So you have any parting words, say, before we close out the show?
Well, just again, be listening, and we'll keep you updated on our iTunes progress.
Yes, which I should the 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay,
it'll be up.
Sounds good.
So the show will be up sooner on the website, but the actual iTunes it'll take about 2 or 3 weeks.
All right. Nope. I think that about does it. I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Yeah. Meow.
Meow.
Yes.
Meow.
Well, everyone, you can find the Dana and Travis Show on Facebook and Twitter. And if you have any questions or topics for the show, just email us at danandtravisshow@gmail.com. And that's it. That's a wrap.
All right. Well, until next time,
you be careful now.